Let's begin. So if you see, this is the puzzle and it's an easy level and we're starting, let's start with a new game. Okay, so our timer begins now. So for example, let's start with a cell which has only one square remaining or maybe two squares remaining. So see this row, we have two squares here that is remaining. So if this is 1, then we can have a 2 here, but we already have a 2 here, so 2 cannot come here. Then there is a 2 here, that is the only place we can have a 2, right? So we'll put a 2 here. So now what's the number remaining here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So 9 remains. Now if you see in this big box, you have only one square that is remaining. So what will be that number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7 is pending. 8 and 9 is already there. So you put a 7 here. Great. You got one big square. Now let's look at this column. You have two numbers, two blocks that are still to be filled. So let's start here. You can have a 1 here because 1 is not in this row, 1 is not in this column, and 1 is not in this entire big box. So I can have a 1 and put it in pencil. Okay, then we have 2 is already here. We cannot have a 2 here. 3 is not there in this row, 3 is not there in this column, and 3 is not in this big box. So we'll put a 3 in pencil. Then 4 is here already, 5 is here, 6 is here, 7, 8 and 9 is there. So only 1 and 3. So even in this square, only two options can come, 1 and 3. Those are the only numbers missing. So can you have a 1 here? 1 is not in this column and not in this row. Yes, so I can have a 1 here. And what about a 3? 3 is not in this row and not in this column, so I can have a 3 here. So 1 and 3. Now this is important for you to understand. If 1 and 3 are here and here, that means that 1 and 3 cannot come in any of these three boxes now. Because in this entire big box, 1 and 3 can only come here or here. Two boxes and two numbers are pending. So let's look at this number, this cell. If 1 already can come here or here, 1 cannot come here. So you cannot have a 2 here, you can't have a 3 here, you can't have a 4 here, you can't have a 5 here. 6 you can have. So let's write 6 in pencil. We have 7, so you can't have 7. 8, 7 is there, 8 is there, 9 is there. So you cannot have any other number except 6. So let's put 6 here. Great. Then let's look at this number. You can't have 1 here because 1 is here and here. So let's write in pencil. You can't have a 1, 2, 3 is there, we can't do a 3. 4 is not there in this row, not there in this column, and not there in this entire box. So we can have a 4 here. 5 is already there, 6 is there, 7 is there, 8 is already there, and 9 is also there. So now the only number that can come here is a 4. So we put a 4 here. Then let's look at this cell. What is the only number pending? If 1 is already in this or this, we can't have 1 here. 2 is there, 3 is already in here or here, so we can't have 3. 4 is there, 5 is the only number missing. And thus double check, 5 is not in this column and not in this row and not in this entire big box. So we have a 5 here. Let's look at another big box. Now what can you look at this entire big Sudoku and tell me what is the number that you can, what is the cell that you can choose? Let's see if you can look at these two because these are the only two cells pending, right? So I'll give you a little time, think and tell me what do you think. Write in the comment box, what do you think will come in this? And will it be in pencil? Okay, so let's start. Let's look at it here. 1 can come here because 1 is not in this column, not in this row, and not in this entire big box. So 1 can come here, write it in pencil. Then we have a 2 in this big box. So we can't have 2 here. 3 is here, 4 is here, 5 is here, 6 is here, 7 is here. 8 is not in this row, not in this column, and not in this entire big box. So we can have an 8. Okay. And 9 is also there. So 1 and 8 can come here. Similarly, here, again, we'll only look at 1 and 8. So 1 is not in this column and not in this row, not in this big box. So we can have a 1. And what about an 8? 8 is already here. So we can't have an 8 here. And all the other remaining numbers are taken. So therefore, this becomes 1. And here, this will become an 8 because 1 will go from here. Great. Now let's look at this cell. You have 1 here already, 2 here, 3 is here, 4 is here, 5 in this big box is there, 6 is there, 7 can come because it's not there in this big box in the row and in the column. So you can have a 7. Okay. And 8 is there, 9 is there. So then the only option is 7. Great. Now think about what is the number that will come in this big box, and you can write in the comment box. All right, so let's look at this. 1 we have, 2 we have, we can have a 3, that's the only option pending. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 all are there. So the only number is 3 that is pending. Great job. Now let's look at in this row you have 3 numbers pending. In this column you have 3 numbers pending. In this row you have 3 numbers pending. Too much. Let's see in big boxes. Where can you see any 2 numbers pending? No. So 3 numbers are pending everywhere. So let's look at this one. You have 1 which you can use, you can put in because it's not there in this column, not there in this row, and not there in this entire big box. So I can put a 1 here. Okay. 2, I can put a 2 here. 3 is already there. 4, 5 is there. 6 is there in this big box. 7 is there. 8 is there. 9 is there. So we can have a 1 and 2. Okay, let's look at this one. We don't have a 1 here in the row, in the column, or in this big box. So I'll put a 1. 2 is there already. 3 is there. 4 is there. 5 is there. 6 is there. 7, 8 and 9 are all there. So the only number that can come here is 1. So I'll remove the pencil mode and write 1 here. So if 1 comes here, the only number that remains here is 2. Perfect. So now what is the only number pending here in this big box? Can you write in the comment section? 1, 2, 3. So the only number that is left here is a 4. So I'm going to write a 4 here. And we finished this big box. Cool. Now let's look at this row. Let's look at this column first because we have only 1 square remaining. So what is that number here? The number is going to be 1 because there is 1 is missing here, right? So 1 will come here. Perfect. Now let's look at this square big box because there are 3 cells missing. So let's start with this one. We have a 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here. We have a 5, 6 and 7 here. 8 is also there. So what is remaining? 9 is remaining, right? So all the numbers were there except 9. So we got an easy answer, 9. Now in this big box, only 2 cells are pending. So let's start with this one. There is no 1 here and no 1 here and no 1 in this big box. So I can write a 1 here. Then 2 is already there. 3 is not in this row, not in this column, and not in this big box. So I'll write a 3. 4 is there, 5 is there, 6 is there, 7 is there, 8 is there, and 9 is there. So we have only 1 and 3 here pending. Then we have a 1 is not in this big column, not in this row, not in this big box. So we can have a 1 here. 2 is already there. 3 also we can have. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are all there. So 1 and 3 are the only numbers. Now again, the same rule applies. In this entire column, if I have only 1 and 3 and 1 and 3 here, so in this square, 1 and 3 cannot come. So what else will be left? We already have 1 which can come here or here. 2 is already here. 3 also can come here or here. So 3 can't come here. Then we have a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the only number that is remaining is number 9. So I'll remove it from pencil mode and I'll put it as a big number. Final number is 9. Now let's look at these two squares. Again, in this square, we have 1 already there, 2 already there, 3 already there, 4 there. 5 is not in this row, 5 is not in this column, and 5 is not in this big box. So you can have a 5 here. Let me write it in pencil. Then 6 is there, 7 is there, 8 is there, and 9 is also there. So this is your final answer, 5. So 5. So now what remains here? Can you comment? And great. So you have number, what's missing here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 is the number that you can fit here. Great. Now let's see this cell. What is the number that will come in this row? The only number that was missing is 1. All the other numbers are there. Great. So now in this column, only 2 cells are remaining. Also in this big box, there are 2 cells remaining. So let's start with this one, because in this row also all the numbers are there except this 2. Now if you see, 1 and 3 is only pending here. So 1 and 3 can come here because every other number is taken. But if you see, 1 cannot come because 1 is already on top. So what is the only number that is pending now? 3. So if 3 is here, 3 cannot come here, and therefore this becomes 1. And if 1 is here, 1 cannot come here. So this becomes 3. Now if 3 is here, see, 1 number gives us all the final answers. If 3 is here, 3 cannot come here. So this becomes 1. And if 1 is here, 1 cannot come here. So this becomes 3. Perfect. In one chain, we got so many numbers correct. Now what remains is only this box in this entire column. So what would it be? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not there here, and 5 is not there here. 5 is not in the big box. So I can have a 5 is the only number that is pending. Now this, you have a 1 here. 2 is not there anywhere. So we can write it in pencil. 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 is not there here. 9 is not there here. 9 is not in this big box. So we can have a 9. So till you check all the numbers, you write it in pencil, and then only once you know for sure that is the answer, you will write it in final mode. Okay, in pen mode. So let's look at this. Now only numbers that can come here are 2 and 9 because those are the only 2 cells remaining in this big box, and only these 2 numbers are not fitted yet. So check for 2 and 9 first. 2 is not there in the row, not there in the column, and not in the big box. So in pencil mode, I'm going to write a 2. Similarly, 9 is there in this row? No. Is 9 there in this column? No. Is 9 in this big box? No. So then you can have a 9 here. So 2 and 9 is missing. And so we'll fit in 2 and 9 here. Let's look at this one. Again, 2 cells, no. Let's look at this one first. Only 1 cell remaining in this entire row. So let's start with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is missing. So this final answer is 6. I don't need to check for anything else because 6 is the final answer. Only 1 number was missing. And 6 is not there in this row, entire column. It's not in this entire row and not in the big box. So this becomes 6. Now, let's look at these 2 cells. No, we can finish up with this cell because again, in this entire row, only 1 cell is remaining. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what's pending? Number 9. Now, what will you do next? The moment you got a 9 here, you will see that in this cell, you can't have a 9. So I'm going to make this final answer 2. And if this is a 2, this cannot be 2. Therefore, this is a 9. Perfect. So we got this row. And now we have only this row pending with 2 squares. Let's start with this one. We can have a 1. So let's write in pencil mode. We can have a 2? No, because 2 is already there. 3 is also there. 4, 5 is there. 6 is not there in this column, not there in this row, and 6 is there here, so we can't have a 6 here. 7 is also there, 8 is also there, 9 is also there. So now I'm sure that 1 is the only option that can come. So what is this number that is left in this big box? The answer is 2. Perfect. Now let's look at this one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 is something that is not there in this column, not there in this row, not there in this big box. So I can have a 6 here. Perfect. 7 is there. 8 is not there anywhere here. 8 is not there here. 8 is there here. So I can't have an 8. And a 9 is also there. So the only option here is now 6. So move it out from the pencil mode, and this is my final answer. So what's the number remaining here in this entire column? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the only thing pending. 8 and 9. Perfect. Now in this row, what is the only number pending? 1. And in this row, what's the only number pending? 1, 2, 3, 4 was the only number pending. Great, we finished it. And that brings us to the end of this puzzle, the end of this video. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.